Welcome, everybody. I'm Dr. Pamela Thomas. You can call me Pam. Eric McKinney, our CMC cataloging trainer, and Caitlyn Stricklin, one of our interns, will be presenting AI in the Library World Part 2. They will be doing a live demo later on, so they're going to be asking for suggestions regarding circulation, acquisitions, and interlibrary loan. So if you could start putting some suggestions in the chat box relating to those, that would be great. And they'll be answering questions at the end of the presentation. And please don't forget to fill out our evaluation form. I'll put the link in there. All right, Eric and Katie, take it away.
All righty, thank you, Pam. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this month's edition of Online with the CMC. This month, we are diving back into the world of AI with AI in the Library World Part 2. Our agenda for this session is as follows. Your fearless presenters shall introduce themselves. There will be a brief recap of Part 1. Caitlyn will share her research on library uses of AI outside of cataloging, and we will end with a live demo featuring your library's queries. We will see if we can develop a query to solve your library's needs with AI. So simply add your needs in the chat while Caitlyn shares her research, and we'll see what we can do when she's finished. So first, some introductions. My name is Eric McKinney, and I am the CMC cataloging trainer at the Cataloging Maintenance Center. You may know me from such presentations as AI in the Library World Part 1, and, well, you see, Timmy. And I've been here for just about 3 years, or just over 3 years now, actually. I have cataloged for academic and public libraries in the past, and I like the broad variety of items that we get to catalog here at the CMC. I've done everything from a pickleball set to blueprints to all sorts of cool local history and genealogy. Plus, I get to play with AI. I was inspired to library work by my wife, who is a high school librarian, although she was pulled out of the library years ago to teach non-library/information literacy related courses, but don't get me started or this will turn into a whole nother presentation. Anywho, in my spare time, I enjoy reading, video gaming, gardening, canning, and magnet fishing. When working remotely, I enjoy hanging out with my furry coworkers there on the screen, though none of them are terribly helpful. Tyrion there on the left and Griffin in the center, mostly nap. And my buddy Piebald, or Pi for short, seems to need a lot of snack breaks.
My name is Caitlyn Stricklin. I'm one of the interns here at the CMC for the fall semester. My dream is to catalog at some capacity at a university. I'm currently pursuing my master's degree in library and information science at the University of North Carolina at Greensboro. I'm married and have 2 little boys, Jax and Logan, aged 3 and 4, and we have our energetic 2-year-old chocolate lab Freya, who never stops to play fetch. In my spare time, I love to do puzzles, practice coding, play video games with my husband, and binge read books late at night. I'm about to start learning to walk again after breaking my ankle in August at a trampoline park and having 2 surgeries to repair it. All of this to say, I'm very excited to talk to you guys today about how AI plays a role in the library world. Before I talk to you about AI use in acquisitions, interlibrary loan, and circulation, I'm going to let Eric refresh your memory on part 1 of the AI in the Library World webinar that he presented in the spring.
All right, thank you, Caitlyn. If you were able to join us for part 1, we looked at AI specifically through the lens of cataloging. Some of the feedback that we received was that for a presentation on AI in the library world, it dealt with little of the library world, and I realized that was completely true. This is a great example of feedback really helping out. That point didn't even occur to me as I put the presentation together. I'm super grateful it was pointed out. So please, if you can take a minute to provide feedback for this or any other of our presentations, that might just give us an idea we wouldn't have thought of otherwise. Alternatively, you can let us know if there are any topics you would like to see covered by contacting us at cmc@illinoisheartland.org, and we'll have a linker that will be in our resources later. On the slide here is the agenda for part 1. We started with a brief description of AI, looked at what it can do in regard to cataloging. Spoiler alert, we couldn't quite get it to spit out a good bibliographic record, though I think with the right query and enough time, at this point, we might be able to do that. Anyway, we reviewed some of the challenges of implementation and closed with a live demo, kind of like what we're going to do today. That recording is available along with all of our past Online with the CMCs on our website, and I've included a link on the references slide. Now I'll turn it over to Caitlyn, who will explain how AI is being used in the library outside of cataloging.
Thank you, Eric. Well, I know that you guys all know what acquisition, circulation, and interlibrary loan might mean. I'm still going to review them today, just in case there are people watching that may not know what they mean. So acquisition is the process of selecting and acquiring selected materials for library and information centers in all formats, including digital items. AI can be used in libraries to analyze usage patterns and assess collections to guide future acquisitions. AI can use an algorithm to make recommendations for each user, automating order processing for librarians, as well as assist in the cataloging process. I found 2 examples of libraries using AI for the acquisition process. The first one is going to be Stanford University Library AI Studio. They use AI to help with collection discovery and analysis of their inventory. And my second example is the Helsinki Central Library of UDI, also using AI technology for collection discovery. They also use AI technology to make reading suggestions for their users. Now let's talk about interlibrary loan. So interlibrary loan allows users to request items and resources from another library that may not be at their own. In regards to how AI can assist with this in the library, it can help with automating the processing of interlibrary loan requests between systems using natural language processing to help interpret user requests accurately and using chatbots to help provide instant responses to your inquiries that a user might have in regards to their loan requests. AI might also be able to help with analyzing costs for transactions related to interlibrary loans, thus helping librarians making decisions when it comes to sharing their resources. I was able to find 2 examples of how AI can be used within the library world for interlibrary loan. For example, the first example, is one that we should all be familiar with, and that's WorldShare with WorldCat. They use AI to automate lending and borrowing through OCLC's WorldCat to gain access to millions of bibliographic records and resources. Another example I found is with the Texas Tech University and University of Houston using an interlibrary loan program that shares their 3D printing objects among a database for their students. AI can also be used for research purposes, like at a university library. For example, the University of Alberta creates and uses AI for research purposes for their students. Some examples of AI sites that you might use are SciSpace, LitMaps, and Perplexity. These sites are all very similar and will help users look for articles and topics relating to their research questions. Users can also use AI technology to help create more sufficient research questions and inquiries. Obviously, you would need to go to fact check some things when you research, as I've personally tested this out myself just to see how the system works. However, it is nice to see that you can potentially use AI to help find resources for a research topic. And the last thing that I'm going to talk to you today is about how AI can help with circulation in the library world. Circulation services in the library include the check-in and check-out of items, managing holds, renewing loans, issuing library cards, as well as managing overdue items. AI can help automate some of these tasks to enhance circulation services in a couple of ways. For one, there can be a self-checkout and return kiosk for users that will help reduce wait times for patrons. There could also be an automated fine management system, given that there are libraries that still have late fees for overdue books or materials. There might also be a way for AI to help remind users about due dates for materials and the arrival of new ones within the library. AI can also help by having a recommendation system for users based on analyzing their borrowing patterns. While I couldn't find any specific examples of AI being used in the library for circulation services, I'm going to use this as an opportunity for Eric to open it up to you guys about your ideas or examples, if you have any, relating to circulation services or other inquiries you might have.
Okay, we don't have any suggestions yet, so can somebody please post a suggestion?
If not, I can kick us off with some stuff to do.
Okay.
So, yep, thank you, Caitlin. That was fantastic. So as Pam said, are there any tasks in your library you'd like to see if we can come up with an AI query that can help you with? You can post that in the chat and we'll try it out. Just describe what task you're looking to do, and we'll see if we can design a query for that. Let's see, to get our AI juices flowing, first I'd like to share a use or two that I have kind of found. And this is just kind of with helping to format clunky spreadsheets. So let me go to my other screen. Sorry if I do a quick flip. And today I'm going to be using Poe. All right, can everybody see Poe?
Yes. Yep.
Yay, okay. So we're going to start with using Poe. I was going to start with ChatGPT-4, but we're just going to start with our agenda. One thing that has changed since Poe, when our very first webinar, just a few months ago, is Poe now has a system where they charge you per search, but they have a coin system. So for their general assistant, I get 3,000 points a day, 20 points to search, which means I can search 150 times. Of course, if you would like to subscribe for $19.99 a month, they'd be happy to give you as many searches as you want, which I don't know, might be helpful because they do have quite a bit of bots or AI bots here to make use of. So that's up to you. But today we're just going to be using the general assistant, which used to use ChatGPT 3.5, but now I believe they've just developed their own basic bot. So that's what we're going to start with today. And one of the uses I have found for this is when I have a big clunky spreadsheet. Again, sorry for the quick flip. Let me see if I can share my. Yep. So this is what our online submission form looks like. So you can come here, submit whatever it is you need cataloged, but it is kind of long and clunky. But what I can do with Poe is I can go in and grab the row, come back into Poe and ask it to present it in list form. Personally, I always say please to the AI because when they take over the world, I don't know, maybe I'll get spared. Please present. Yep, actually, it's bright enough that, yeah, capitalization can be optional. So I can paste that in, and when we hit enter, sorry, Eric, I'm using you as my example today. Thank you for your submissions. So now I can kind of see it much, much better. This is a lot cleaner and easier to read. One thing I have noticed is it doesn't quite put in anything. Any field that was not filled in, it just kind of leaves it out. But you can also modify this. What's nice is the bot kind of remembers. It's not like Google where you have to go in and do a new one each time. So this time I can ask it to do the same with this one. But use the following titles row. So first I can give it our title row. Put that in. I'll follow that up with another row. Let's just grab this one at random. And we'll throw that in. And that's a big hot mess right there. So if everything goes right, so now I have all of the rows. Anything that was left blank now tells me, yes, this was blank. So that's how I can go back in, and you can go back in and keep refining it and keep refining it. But at this point, you just can keep saying, do the same with this one.
Eric, we do have a question regarding the search. Melissa would like to know, how did the AI know your headers for each column?
I copy and pasted that over. It did do it the first time. So to be honest, spooky AI magic is my only answer for that. But yeah, until I went in and pasted them in. But you're right, it did pick those up on the first time. And it may be because I've done this, as you can see over here, I've done this a time or two. So
it remembers.
Yeah, it does remember. It may very well have picked that up from some of my previous. So that is, yep. And then when we put in, was that the right one? Yeah, do the same for this one. And that's how we can format that. What did I do? If there are any catalogers, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead, Pam.
There is a question about something else, unless if you needed to explain
no
this
break.
one.
Go right in. I think we've covered how to format a list from an Excel row.
Jill asks, have you come across any AI tool that would create alternative text for an image? I'm thinking about the upcoming ADA website compliance and the need to use alt text descriptors on images on our website.
I want to say, I think Google Cloud Vision does, but I'm not sure of any other AI tool. Maybe
Yeah, you might be right.
Dolly.
I don't know if amount of speed, the text image. And again, here, of course, since this one's a bit more robust, it's going to cost you a bit more to. So, small video files, context window. There, to be honest, I don't know the answer to that. There may very well be. As I said, there are a lot of bots here. I wonder if
I
there's
think
anything.
Dolly might.
You think Dolly might
I
cover
think
that? And
so.
that one is one of the. They do have a
I
free
think it's a
version of that.
subscription, yeah.
Yep, as you can see, there are some versions where subscriber access, where you're going to need to subscribe with actual money, whether you want to or not. But you do have some of the more basic versions, like with Flux, which is an image generator. You can come down here and use some of the basic things. It's just not going to be quite as fancy. Stable Diffusion's another good free one. I know Dolly's in here somewhere.
So Jill asked, could you grab an image off a website and run it through Dolly if possible?
So Dolly is used more for creating images.
Well, but they might still provide alt.
Some
That
alt
is
text
true.
to go with it.
Where you at? Oh, there we are. Okay, that's the official. Oh, yeah. Yep, this one, it's official. Yeah, 1,500 per message for that one. And I don't see there's.
Can you search for Dolly again and
Let's see what pops up.
go slow because there was
Oh,
one.
sorry. Dolly. Well,
What
we have a
about that
Dolly
Dolly 3 generator?
I'm not sure that's the
That-
official one. Yeah, sometimes people come in and just
Gotcha.
I mean, you don't know
crop
until you try as
template.
well.
All right, well, okay, let's generate, please create. I know we're not grabbing an image, but we'll start with creating our image. Please create an image of, well, what I used last time was an extremely happy Chewbacca. Receiving his first library card. He is exchanging a high five with the librarian.
And Jill also asked, can you mention again the OES mentioned?
I don't know what this one's doing. Oh, apparently this one's generating prompts for Dolly 3.
So not the
Oh.
image itself.
Yeah, not the image itself. So that's kind of interesting.
Okay.
Well, all right. And if we find an image generator, we have that. I'm sorry, Pam, can you repeat the?
Oh, can you mention again the ones you mentioned? Sorry. Thanks, Jill. I was like, I don't know what OES means.
Oh, the tools that I
tools.
mentioned?
Yep.
Oh,
yes.
I want to say one of them was Google Cloud Vision, and then the OpenAI Dolly, but I don't know about any others. I bet that's a question we could ask Poe itself if it knows of any tools.
There you go. Good call. So what tools? Because yesterday we didn't ask which AI are most useful for creating images with alt. I imagine all of them could probably suggest alt text at the very least. There's our Dolly 2, Mid Journey. I forgot about that one. But Stable Diffusion is also a good one. I'm a big fan of open source type software.
Mm-hmm.
So, yep, that's usually kind of my go-to. When
Melissa says that Microsoft Word has this function. She's not sure how helpful it always is, though.
Oh, okay. I haven't played around with that. I'll have to. Yeah, a lot of people. Do you remember
which one you used last spring for creating the images?
I do not, but it was most likely either Stable Diffusion or DALL-E.
I think it was Stable Diffusion.
Yeah, it might have been. Let's see if we have no other suggestions. We had a bit of fun yesterday as we were kind of going over the presentation and making sure. What did we do with our brand new invention? I don't think this.
Our new fake thing.
Yeah, right. Let's see here. Where are all my chats at? It actually started with a. Oh yeah, Mark Edit. Okay, here's another one for catalogers who use Mark Edit. It's also, if you want to create a quick script, again, you're probably going to have to go in and edit it. I was just kind of doing a test of please write a mark edit script that adds related term of author. So then I can just go in, copy paste my script into mark edit, make sure it runs okay, make sure all the formatting is just fine. And I have a pretty good thing. I also like it gives me an explanation and then how to use it. So that can be pretty handy for any, I imagine, of course, you could do the same with any other programming language out there, or if you want something written in JavaScript for some reason.
Okay, Jill followed up. She said, again, this isn't about creating images, but creating descriptors for an image to be used in an alt text field. So I don't know if, if you could like grab an image from Google and paste it in a box and tell it to give you alt text.
Let me see what I have down in my, I probably have an image of some sort. Oh, of course I do. Hold on 1 second. Let's see.
Oh, you've got one. Do you have one on the next slide?
I do. Good call, Pam. Hold on. Let me bring the slideshow back up. At least on my screen. I'm trying to grab oh, actually I have one. Here we go.
And we're just seeing the PowerPoint right now.
Oh.
I don't, okay.
Actually, let me go. Okay, yep, sorry. I'm going to flip over to my, yep, let me flip over. I'll just grab my doggy and, I don't know what this, I don't want that. Let's just, oh, geez. Yay. Okay. Yep. Oh, yeah, it's live, of course.
There's no rush.
Yep, and I'm Irish and learned long ago the luck of the Irish was meant sarcastically. Yep, it's going to do that for me every time. See if we can just, okay, here are our references.
We're still just seeing the
We just see the free for all, slide.
Oh, you're seeing the free for all? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I think your share is on a different
screen.
Might have gone to a different, okay. Let me pull that back over then. Share. Well, I don't see my share screen at all. How's that? So
nope. Still the free for all slide.
Okay, let me stop sharing and then
you might have to stop sharing.
Let's try that again. All right. There we are. So let's just go on free for all. Current slide on the call today. We'll use my big head.
Okay.
If we can. Really? I can't copy that from right there. All right. Well, thank you for bearing with us as we try to find any image that we can use. Let me, again, stop my share because it seems it doesn't want me to pick up anything. Oh, nope, still going to do that. All right. Yay, we have an image. All right, now let's bring back up Poe. See if we can do this just from our general assistant.
Are you sharing your screen? Because we just see the participants.
Oh, it says it's sharing. Let's try that.
There we go.
There we go.
Okay, okay, so please create alt text for the following image. Yay, thanks for bearing with us. Hey, buddy, you have a friendly, expressive expression.
Jill, is that what you were looking for?
So, yeah, I'm not sure if that's quite
shorter.
Because you can make it free for as long as you want. Please,
sure.
Please make it just 2 sentences. I guess I don't need please there. So yeah, there it's
I
just gonna
mean,
cut a
yeah.
little bit. The cozy, intimate perspective. Wow.
Yes.
Yes, but I'm curious if the image was more complex, if it would handle it, example, an image for a program on Facebook or website.
Do you have an image you can drop in the chat?
Well, what if you use the
Or do we have...
CMC logo? Could you copy and paste
Oh,
that from the PowerPoint? Would that be complex enough, Jill?
or is she meaning like a lot happening in one picture?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Although there's a lot happening in our
Yes, the latter.
yes.
So the logo?
Well, you can try that, but
Yeah, I can't. Or just a more complex.
right.
Complexity, one thing about photo generators and AI, of course, complexity is going to depend on the AI. Of course, one of the subscription-based ones is probably going to put out a much better photo than, say, our regular assistant here. I'm trying to think of a busy flyer or something I might have. But yeah, if anybody has anything you'd like to drop in the chat box that we can see if we can do that as well. Because I am not locating anything. Oh, Cat, that's a good one.
Oh, yeah, Cat
Copy.
has a capture memories, and then Jill asked, could you use a library crawl image?
We'll start with this one. Oop, I'm on a different.
And Lori said, what about your on the call image? If he could do the whole slide, he might be able to copy that.
Yeah,
too.
I might be able to do that. So, please create. I don't know why I say please create alt text for the file.
Could you ask it to just give short phrases maybe? Because
Yeah, you can ask it to
unless Jill, you're really wanting that much narrative. Usually alt text, at least when I've seen it, has been pretty short.
It's been pretty short. Oh, well, there you go. It's not messing around now. It's just going to give you the bare bones. So yep, what you wanted to distill from any photograph, I guess, is something you would really have to coax out of it, depending upon your query.
That's kind of how it all is. Okay,
Yeah.
so Jill says this is editable, but a good place to start.
Yep, and as I say, if you want to try a couple of the other more fancy, you can come here and just look by image generation.
Could you, sorry, add the link to Poe in the chat?
Oh, sure. If we don't have that under our references, this is just the desktop
do you? Okay,
app.
that's fine if you do.
Yep, there's a desktop app, and then I believe it's just poe.com.
Okay, so Jill says it has to be descriptive enough so that if someone were using a descriptive reader due to vision issues, that it would tell them what the image is communicating. Right.
I would make that part of my query.
Okay.
That exactly what you just said is I would put that as part of the query.
Okay, and Caitlyn put the link to Poe. Thanks, Caitlyn. So yeah, if anybody has any, sorry, suggestions regarding circulation, acquisitions, or interlibrary loan, Eric could definitely look those up as well. Not that what we've been doing is wrong or bad. It's not.
No, we can do. And if we don't have anything.
Look for whatever. No, we're not off point, Jill. Not at all.
Nope.
It's a live demo.
I will get off point if I have to, but I can talk about AI for a while. Where is our... No, that wasn't the one. If we don't have anything else, XLS formats.
Not right now.
Okay. Well, what happened to our cool Punctuation changes, that can also be good. I've also used it to remove diacritics. Sorry for the fast scroll. Phrase, basically, please remove the diacritics from the following Chinese phrase, which I just copy and pasted over from OCLC, and then I could copy paste it back in. You will need to add in your the delimiter for OCLC, but I thought that was a pretty handy way to do that. And now where was...
Do you think you could pull like CIRC or acquisition or interlibrary loan stats?
I
You know
don't
what I'm
see
saying?
one. There'd have to probably be some sort of integration unless you
Right.
taught it how. Yeah, I would imagine there'd be some sort of integration for that. That one I don't know enough. You can create your own bot. I haven't explored that yet, but hey, maybe there's an idea for AI in the library world part 3. We can see about creating our own bots for whatever purposes you need them for, really.
You guys did talk about that you could give like reader recommendations, right, from patterns?
Yes,
during the
that was one of the
presentation?
things that Caitlyn found in her research.
Yeah. So, say I just finished reading By Any Other Name by Jodi Picoult. Sorry if I pronounced your last name wrong. Would it be able to tell me what I should read next?
Should be able to if you give them ideas based on what you've read. We could try that.
Although if you want to go over the cross-stitch vision helmet, because that was the thing that we created yesterday during our practice, which is pretty
Yeah, I
cool.
thought if we had no other suggestions, as we were just kind of noodling around and checking our presentation, we got to talk. Some of us have older eyes, that would be me,
And
and
me.
and we were talking about the cross stitching and how we can't quite do it anymore because our vision's not so great. So just for giggles, we decided to ask it to please invent a helmet that will aid cross stitchers in seeing their work, and we've now come up with the cross stitch vision helmet. Although I like to call it the CSVH because that sounds cooler. But it did come up with a whole invention and gave us an overview of what it should do, the features it should have. Anti-fog technology. Yeah, I wouldn't have thought of that. Flexible visor. Foldable design. I like that feature.
And battery life.
Yeah, you got to have a good battery life. Sorry, I'm trying to take this slow so I don't.
Yep, that's fine.
And this is how it works.
So we just need somebody to actually invent this for us.
Target
so
audience.
We can use it.
And then with our pitch, we have our conclusion there. So then, of course, we got curious. Well, what is the estimated cost of all of this? And of course, that varies on the features and the materials. So we can make 3 models of our CSVH basic model, $50 to $100. Mid-range is 1 to 2, and our high-end model, 2 to 4. So yep, we thought that was pretty funny. And then we were going to get an AI to actually come up with the prototype of it, but a lot of them don't like super long queries, so we couldn't copy and paste this whole thing in. We tried to do it by chunks, but oh well. But yep, there you go. Please look out for the cross-stitch vision helmet on a shelf nowhere near you, no time soon.
Might have just sparked an idea out there.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't know.
I did just do a test query on the side with Poe, just to see if it would give me book recommendations based on reading a certain series, and it gave me a huge list, probably about 10 books to read based on something.
What was your query?
I said, please give me book suggestions based on reading the Outlander series.
Oh.
Ooh, there you go. Suggestions.
There you go.
Nice. And I've read many of those.
Well, I've read some of them, but yeah, not all.
The Witch's Heart, but I think
Outlander the musical. Wow.
Why not?
Yeah. Right.
Into the wilderness. Oh, that's very interesting.
Okay,
So
does
yeah,
anybody
thanks, Caitlyn.
else have any suggestions for us to search? It could be cataloging related too. It's okay. Jill says the last version of this class, we did brief book descriptors for a 520 field. It worked, but not for very recent titles. Has this gotten better?
Yeah, that I do not know. We'd have to check it. Anybody have a
Like a recent book title?
By any
trying to
other
think of
name?
by any other. Hey, how about that one? All right, by any other name.
So you want a summary statement for by any other
Please
name?
make a summary. And who's the author? By any other
Jody,
name?
Jodi, and then it's Picoult.
Okay,
I know.
that's the
Oh,
one.
yes.
I mispronounce her last name all the time.
And of course, from here, you can either tell it to just say, hey, I just want 2 sentences, or please make it.
It's not quite
Let's
right,
go
but
3 sentences, please.
I think that's a novella because it's a pretty long book, but
There you go. So it,
it's a little
Alright.
off.
I guess, Jill, it'd be up to you whether that's better than what we played with in the spring or not.
Charlie asks, can it suggest a good LCSH term or terms for lizard people asking for a friend?
Try it out.
A lot of times you might have to train it when you're first doing it. I think I can put an LCHS because I've used that before. And of course, LC, DDC, I'm going to warn you on those. It will put you in the neighborhood, but I don't think I've ever had it give me a correct one. So yeah, let's check out.
Lizard people. Okay.
Oh,
Reptilian
okay.
humanoids. I love it.
All right. Somebody's going to have to pull up the LC Authority database where connection and
Cryptozoology.
science fiction is a real one. I'm not sure about in folklore United States. I'm not sure about some of the other ones.
Yeah, let's take a look.
Oh, Jill said that Pico description is better than the paragraphs that often go in. Okay.
All
Okay.
right, well, I am going to count that as a win. Yay.
Yep.
So we were looking for. Oop, nope, wrong one. Hold on.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah, that was
we're-
it. You just
subject heading. Aren't we looking for subject headings though?
you can look for subject headings from that other box. You just have to
Okay.
change your one of the drop downs to
Oh well,
LCSH.
geez, that's work, Pam.
Okay.
Oh boy. All right, let me try to spell it correctly too. Reptilian humanoids. No.
Reptiles.
Reptilia was a
Reptilian
Reptilia.
humanoids was our lizard people. Let's try that one.
I'm not so sure about that one.
Yeah, I'm not sure. We're going to call out the A on this one.
So this is what I was talking about with fact checking.
Lizard
Nope.
populations, no. So maybe with a subheading lizard populations, people, yeah, I don't know. Nope, it looks like, see, yep, this is a great example of, well, I don't even know if I'd call it trust, but verify.
Yes.
Yeah.
Verify, but verify.
Okay, so Carly says, can you ask for Dewey numbers based on those LCSH terms?
You can.
Will you?
Recommend some DDC numbers. Again, you might have to spell that out the first time to see for the previous list. So even though some of these are completely not official subject headings,
Okay. I know that 3 through 6 are accurate. I don't know about that 001.9 number, but
let's see where.
I'm not versed enough quite yet to say
Well,
yes or no.
Oop, wrong one. I wanted to go to WebDewey, which I have somewhere. There's WebDewey, so we can log in and look at our 000s. And I've already 001.9.
0.9.
I don't know.
You could just do search.
Yeah, but that's not fun. Search. Well, we know the first three are what, Punk, so we probably have to look up.
Yeah, because you have 001.9 and 001.942.
Yeah. Alien beings. Let's try that one. That'll be fun.
And Charlie did say no
No
spoilers,
return.
but I tried looking for those first two myself yesterday, but came up empty. So
Aha.
I think he's, are you talking about the subject headings, Charlie, or the DDC numbers?
Monsters and related phenomena. So that's 001. That's unexplained phenomena.
Well, 001.9 is controversial knowledge, so that,
Yeah.
okay, the subject headings, thanks, Charlie. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
So yep,
Pretty
that
accurate.
is, yeah, not too shabby. Of course, if you need LC numbers, again, it's list. Reptiles in folklore. I love it. Yeah.
GRs. Okay. Yep.
Cryptozoology. That would have been, yeah. Mythical creature. Yeah. Okay.
Parapsychology.
Yeah.
So yep, those would be a good place to start. So yep, I can use this, but I always go double check. And with reptilian humanoids, now you know why. Yay. All right. Do we have anything else?
Not right now. Does anybody else have any?
Let's see here. We have about 18 minutes and 2,670 points left to play with. So I guess if we wanted to try some sort of fancier image or anything to that effect, we could. Or some of my other favorite bots, maybe for teen programs, there are quite a lot of role playing. I don't think there are any adult ones in here specifically. I was looking for, there's a Game of Thrones, there's a Harry Potter, there's a, so if any of you grew up on Zork or any of the other MUDs.
Nope.
Ask me anything and be prepared to feel like you only have 2 brain cells that are fighting for third place.
Jill asks, do you see a point where using these AI tools as something introduced in a share monthly CE class would be helpful for 520 descriptions and other cataloging queries like Dewey numbers, etc.?
Yeah, I think so. It's hard to say when. I've been playing with AI, I guess, since shortly after I arrived here, so 2 or 3 years now, and every time I come back to do something like this, I'm kind of amazed at how much it's changed in just the 6 months. So yeah, I kind of imagine there is going to be a point where it's going to be heavily integrated into a lot of what we do. I don't say this to scare us. We're not going to have a job in 10 years. I just think it's just going to look kind of different. So being ahead of the curve and learning as much as we can about the tools that are going to affect us in the future, I think is a pretty good strategy, especially for the younger cataloger set out there who's going to be doing it much, much longer than I'm going to be doing it. So
I did attend a webinar. One of the academic libraries used AI to generate subject headings based on, I believe they used Library of Congress classification.
Okay.
So there are libraries out there experimenting and using it.
Definitely.
Is it saving time? I can't answer that.
Up front, no. Yeah, I'd say up front, it's not going to save you time, but once you get your query worked out, and if it's just something you have to put in over and over again, yeah, I think that would be a big time saver. But sitting down to try to get it to spit out a complete full bibliographic record, yeah, that's going to take some planning and a lot of, because you need to account for this field or this subfield in this happenstance and not in this happenstance. So I think it could be done. I'm just not sure Pam's going to pay me to sit around and do nothing with that because it would be a full-time job.
Jill says it changes workflow and has some helpful tools for simple things I would hope would be of interest. Yeah, I
Definitely.
agree. Yeah,
Definitely. Like even just organizing that list or the Excel
Yes.
row into a list for me was just like a revelation. And this is so much easier to read. And
but it
my
takes practice because you have to learn what you have to
Definitely.
feed into it.
Yep, it's no different
so-
than when we all learned Google back in the day with Boolean operators. You need to know what to ask for and kind of how to ask it, maybe in a way. Yeah, but I can definitely see the potential for handy uses. And even asking it for uses I haven't even thought about yet.
Right.
So we do have, let's see, about 14 more minutes. If anybody has anything else they'd like to see or see what we can try to do with our tools here, I'd be happy to throw in some queries. And
just a reminder to please fill out the evaluation form once the webinar is over. And then just a reminder, next month, Mary will be covering Solving the Mystery, the case of cataloging kits. That will be at 10 a.m. Let me look at the date. Sorry, should have written that down. November 14th at 10 a.m. And if you are unable to attend the live, we always record the sessions. So, all right, I've done my pitch. Any other questions?
I think I have one. I know I'm a co-presenter, but just randomly thought of this. Yesterday we talked about cutter numbers while I was working with Eric. Does the assistant create cutter numbers? I would assume it can, but just to test her out.
Some of it would do is going to kind of provide a cutter, not a, but probably more than one, huh? Cutter numbers for, let's see, a book with the LC classification. Yeah, because it would need to know a lot more, right? It's going to need to know subject and author and
title.
So just if I just want to see if we plug in something random. Still give you, at the very least, it's going to give you a guide on how to.
Oh, wow, yeah.
But it's telling you, yeah, I need the author's last name and I need the title.
Yep.
If there's no author. Yep.
Right.
Although sometimes you do.
Yep, and
a title cutter as well. Yep.
S65, 19th letter. So yeah, that seems to be valid advice. But as we've learned, trust but
verify.
Yes. We know that. Okay, I don't see anything else in the chat. So we'll give it another minute or so.
Did you have the references on the next slide from the presentation? Oh, and the slide without the notes is already in L2, and then Eric will upload the slide with the notes after the presentation if it's not already there.
I will do that. It is not already there. I'm going to, you are right, correct. I will edit directly when we are done here. Yep, I cannot get it to bring our presentation back up. This will probably be another stop sharing moment.
That's fine.
And we will share again. This one. References slide.
We're just seeing the participants right now.
Okay, let me pop on. It did not.
It's hard when you have more than one screen.
Yeah, I'm bouncing back and forth.
I mean, it's lovely, but
yeah, of course it
you can always
is.
tell what you're sharing.
Yeah, and it's, there we go.
Yay.
References. Yep, there's are the references. Did we get everything? Nope, I can add some more to that. Where's that? Oop, thanks, everybody.
See, that was the image that I wanted you to use for the alt image.
Oh,
text
how
to
nice.
see.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't think I can grab it straight from here, can I?
That's
We found
okay.
that out.
That's all right.
HAL 9000, my favorite homicidal AI.
All right. Well, thanks everybody. Again, please fill out the evaluation form. We just really do love feedback from all of you. Plus, we're gonna need suggestions for our
Ooh,
next fiscal year. So that's a
button.
place to put those. Yeah. So thanks, Caitlyn and Eric. It was an awesome job. I'm
Thanks for
gonna
joining us, everyone.
stop the recording if I can find it. Okay, stopped.